Welcome to Season 3 of Hines on Air, a new space for voices with something to say where conversations are recorded and remembered, hosted by Matt Hines.
Coming at you from Atlanta, Georgia, welcome to Hines on Air.
The system can be hacked. I've never felt accomplished, even today. You need about 60 days to break a habit. I'm a very driven, ambitious maniac.
How important is it to sort of disagree with those around you?
The people that you don't know are not going to be the ones that hold you back.
From a childhood marked by loss and uncertainty to a young adulthood struggling with addiction, he faced what many would consider the end of the road. But for him, it was just the beginning. He mastered sales, broke through his limits, and built his future from the ground up, becoming a global icon in business and leadership. Today, he's a New York Times bestselling author, the force behind a worldwide movement, and the creator of the 10X philosophy that has transformed millions of lives and businesses. He's shared the stage with global icons, but his true power lies in inspiring those who want more impact, more growth, and more freedom. And now, his message reaches one of the fastest rising forces in the U.S. economy. Latino entrepreneurs. Get ready for a transformational experience. Please welcome Grant Cardone.
All right, my friend. Well, listen. So you've got this empire. Just give us a little bit. How did it start? Like in the very beginning, what were you doing?
It was all just a dream. And it was. I was 10 years old. My dad died. I'd lost the provider of the income of the family. My dad. He was everything, right? And he was my mentor and the leader of the family. And when he passed, my mom had 5 kids to raise, a single mom, and didn't know. She was a great mother, but she didn't know how to get money. She didn't know what to do with money. She didn't know how to invest money. She knew how to bake, and she knew how to love and hug, and, she knew how to say, be careful, but she didn't know how to build anything or grow anything. And I had a dream that I was going to be the one that replaced my dad and be the provider. So I told her when I was 15 years old, I said, one day I'm going to get rich. I'm going to get rich. And I'm going to help a lot of people. And she's like, you should just be satisfied with what we have. And I said, no, I'm not satisfied with what we have. And that's really how it all started. I've never been satisfied. I have never thought that whatever I did was enough. I've never felt accomplished, even today. So I'm a very driven, ambitious maniac. Crazy loco.
You brought up a good point there because you said she just wanted you to kind of be normal, do the status quo and all. How important is it to sort of disagree with those around you? All the voices it takes just to get a job 9 to 5, be normal.
Yeah, the people that you don't know are not going to be the ones that hold you back. It's the people that you are connected with right now, family members. They're pulling for you, but they really don't want you to change. They don't. They have they're probably not going to buy your products from you. They're not going to donate to your foundation or your charities. They're going to be like, I support you. We love you. You'll celebrate a birthday with them, but they're probably not going to be there to say, hey, here, I believe in you, and put money behind it, which is no problem. They don't want you to change, though. How many mothers in the room? How many times do you think you have told your kids, oh, yeah, I like the lights up better. The lights up are better. Oh, yeah, I can see people, beautiful people, by the way. Give yourselves a big hand for being beautiful. Man, give yourselves a big hand for being beautiful. Come on. And then Like if you don't believe you're beautiful, look at this dude right here. He knows he's beautiful. Look at this guy. Pecs showing and everything. So if you guys don't believe in you, trust me, the rest of the marketplace will never, ever believe in you. Ever. You have no chance. And so, my mom, or just consider if you're a mom, how many times have you told your kids, I never want you to change. Don't change a thing. You're perfect just like you are. Yeah, but it's not true. Your kid is not perfect the way he is. Your kid is supposed to become something else. And I have always wanted to become more. I wanted to reach my full potential. And just because my mom or my brother and sister think that I've done enough, doesn't matter. I know that I'm capable of more than I'm doing. How many of you are capable of more than you're doing? So something's wrong. Something's wrong. You just have to admit it. If you're capable of this and you're doing that, it's not because you're the problem. It's because something you believe to be true is the problem and not true. So if you get rid of the not true, you end up with the true. And I'm just telling you, I came up with no money, no connections, no credit, no banks, no direction, a bad reputation. I'd ruined my reputation in the community that I lived in. And once I got clear that I was going to build something, that I was going to become the best version of myself, it's much better. Trust me, it's more fun. It's much better. But you got to make a decision. You got to tell your family members that don't support this path to just, I love you, but I'm not checking in with you. You wouldn't go to your dad for legal advice. You'd go to him. You wouldn't go to your mom to pull a tooth. You'd go to a professional. So you don't go to your parents or your brother and sister about your $1 billion idea when they don't have $1 billion dreams.
A great point. That's right. Right on. He's real. I don't want to stop you. That's a very valid point. So I think we were talking earlier, and you and Jared, your right hands, mentioned stressing sales and marketing. Like that's your money engine. That's the thing that's going to propel you. Can you comment on that? Like, what's
look, the first two lines of any business. I mean, the first two lines you should spend. If you're taking notes, 95% of your time should be spent on income. 5% of your time would be spent on budgeting money. Now, the Hispanic community's got a terrible problem with money. I'm just going to be. You guys mind if I'm honest? You guys are horrendous with money. Okay, you have. No offense, not everyone. Carlos Slim is outside this bucket. But you have a scarcity mentality, a poverty mentality. And you think about, I know because I was brought up like this. I did not know how to get money. I didn't know how to get it. So if you don't know how to get it, what are you going to do? You're going to manage it. Okay, you're not an entrepreneur if you're a manager. You're not a business owner if you're a manager. You're not a creator if you're a manager. When you're managing is a defensive act. Okay, I'm managing food. My mom put food in the cabinets or in storage. I got to manage the food, or I'm managing the bath water. Okay, but you need new bath water. I need new water, new food, new money, new customers. 95% of your time should be spent on new income. 95% of all your efforts should be spent on income, money, promotion, new audience, new friends, new network, new connections, new something. Only manage 5% of your time. Which I don't even manage money 5% of the time. I manage my money less than 1% of the time. The rest of my time is spent on offense. I'm basically throwing bombs. I'm going for shots. Okay? I'm trying to put my wife, myself, and my family in a position to have a score, not to manage some activity that happened yesterday. So, unfortunately, you guys got to get rewired. Most of everything you know about money was taught to you by banks that make money convincing you to do certain things. How many believe that's true? I'll prove it to you. Okay. First of all, how many of you do not have the money that you think you deserve? Like if I looked in your bank account right now and said, look in the account. Okay. I looked at a guy's account once, a guy you and I were talking about. I spent 90 days with a guy that was a billionaire. He was worth $2 billion at the time. And he says, hey, what do you want? Why are you hanging out with me? I said, bro, I just want to know like what goes on in $1 billion mind. And he says, okay, hang out. But what do you want? I said, I want to see your checking account. I want to see your financial accounts. I want to see how much money you have in an account. He said, sure. He opened the account. I saw $637 million in one account. Okay, now that's either a translation issue. $630 million in one checking account. And I was like, man, I've never seen that much money in my life in one place. And I knew in that moment, if he could do that, I could do that. I had never seen it. Okay. First problem is if you've never seen it, you can't get it. Like if you live in poverty and all you see is poverty, that's all you get is poverty. Right? You have to get out of the poverty. You have to get out of it. You got to see it here. You got to see it here. I got to see it here. That's the beauty of the imagination, right? Like I got to see it here. You got to fix this. And then you got to see it in real life. That's the beauty of social media, by the way. Okay. You can see my plane on social media. You say, boom, that's a real plane, right? You got to see it here and then you got to see it and then you got to get closer to it. And so it's the same thing for like anything that you want to change, you have to take control of. You have to take control of the thing that you want. And for me, it started with income. I needed income. I needed money. I had a job that I didn't want. I was a salesman. And I didn't want to be a salesman. How many of you hate sales? Let me see a hand if you hate sales. Hated it. Now be honest. How many of you actually hate sales? Let me see a hand. Yeah. But the rest of you are liars. Nobody likes sales. Nobody. Say again. You like the challenge. Really? Do you want to sell something or do you want $1 billion? Yeah, you want what? You want $1 billion. Exactly. You don't want the challenge. How many of you would like to have customers that just bought from you? They just buy from you. You don't have to sell them. Don't make this harder than it is. You know, what do you want? The target is not to make a sale. The target is to make a customer. Right? So you got to spend your time. I did not like sales. I liked selling. I liked getting the sale. I didn't like doing the sale. I liked getting the money. Okay. Once I had the money, I had to figure out what I'm going to do with the money. So the things you should be spending your time on is I get money and I spend it on marketing. Because if people don't know me, if you don't know me, you can't trust me. If you don't trust me, you will never spend money with me. People do not spend money with people they trust because you said the right thing or you were honest. People trust what they see over and over and over and over again. And so what you guys do is you trust the information you have. You've been told by banks to save your money. How many have been told to save your money? Doesn't work. How many have been told buy a house? Let me see a home. That was talked to you by the banks, by the way. Nobody gets rich buying houses, ever. How many were taught to invest in a retirement account? Let me see a hand if you have a retirement account. Checking account. Keep your hand up. Checking account, savings account, retirement account, equity in your home. Okay, these were taught to you by the bank. But the wealthy people on this planet don't do any of those things on the way up.
Really? Because you were down in Florida. You had an event, and I stood up and asked a question at the end of it.
Yeah.
And you taught me something.
I still remember where you were sitting.
Yeah. Okay, good. I said, do you really never save anything? Like, take 10% or 20%, whatever. And you said, look, if you would have invested or you spent that money on marketing versus sticking it in the bank, you wouldn't have a money problem now. And you said it at just the right time, because right after that, I applied it.
Yeah.
And actually, this event, it helped just about this event.
Yeah.
So it's like, why are you going to save it? Let's do something great with the money.
Yeah. So when you take money, first of all, you don't make money if you take notes. You do not make money. Quit saying I need to make money. You don't make money, you get money. The money's already made. It doesn't matter where you go, anywhere on the planet. You go to Mexico, they got pesos. Somebody made the pesos. You don't make money, you get money. Hey, give me some money. Who's got $100? Who in the room's got $100? I'll just show you this. Would you give me $100, ma'am? Would you give me $100 of your husband's money? Yes, ma'am. Okay. I can't. Please. See, look at this.
Oh, wow. There we go.
Look. Where's the passion? Where's the passion I talked about? Okay. I didn't do anything. And I ain't giving it back. And he should not want it back. He should never want that back. He is better off having Grant Cardone own his $100 than he is having that $100 back. Okay? Now, he wanted to give me money. Did I do anything for it? Sure did. Yes, sir, I did. He came up here and gave me money. I did something. We were just talking about this. I did something. I don't need to build a product. I don't need to manufacture something. I don't need to do any more than that. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it, okay? You're an awesome dude. Come on up here. Let me come back up here again. Look at this. Now, what I'm going to give him, what's your name? Luis. Look, what do you do for a living? You make tiny homes. Turn around. This is Luis. Put the camera on him real quick. This is Luis, and he makes tiny homes. Give him a hand. Okay. Now, I don't know if you guys have video that. Somebody had to video that. Did somebody video that? Okay, tag me in it, and I'll throw it on my Instagram, and about 4 million people will see it, okay? Was it worth the $100? Okay, now let me duplicate the little game here, okay? Who wants to give me $100 now? Every one of you people like, fuck it, I'll give you some money. Okay, you see what I'm doing? I don't need, just go to the money. Just go to the money. Once I get it, now I have it. Oh yeah, you getting up close. Camera guy wants 100. Okay? By the way, this is another policy of money. The closer you get to the target, the better chance you have of collecting the money. So anytime you want something, close the distance. Okay? Close the distance between you and the target. Like if I was shooting a gun to the back of the room and I can't hit it, if I put it right there, the closer I get. So close the distance between you and the target. I don't know you. Right? So because I don't know you, I can't trust you. So what is that? That's marketing. Okay? Now, the truth is now I do know you now because you came to this event, which brings us to networking. You guys have to leave your home. Yeah. There is no money at your house. Your goals cannot be solved on the sofa of your home. You have to come to events like this. You have to get around people you don't know and people you haven't met. So your network, how many of you heard this before? Your network is your
net worth.
Yeah, your net worth. So you have to start spending time with people that have the things you want. So you and I would have to do this more than once, and then I'll be like, oh, I'm really interested in your business.
Okay, so let me ask you this. So in the beginning, you had ambition, you had a dream, but did you know how to get there? Did you use coaching or
how did you? Yeah, 100%. Like I have spent. Every time I had $4,000, every time I had $4,000, I would invest it in a coach. I would invest it in a workshop. I would invest it in education. Like I was 25 years old. I was sick and tired of being a loser. And I was a loser. And I know I was a loser. You might not have thought I was a loser, but I was a loser. because I was living below my potential. Every time I would get $3 or $4 grand, I would figure out something to spend it on that would make me better. My friends were buying cars. My friends were buying a house. I'm like, no, I'm going to invest it in me. The single best investment you will ever make in your lifetime that will pay you every time is you. The government can't steal it from you. Competition, yes, ma'am. Go ahead, please. The best investment. You are a spiritual unit that should be reinvested in before your cars and your houses and even your kids. Okay? If I was down to my last 4,000, I would invest it in me and not my own children. Because now I can take care of my children. I would invest it in me before I invested it in my business. I would invest it in me before I invested it in my employees. I don't mean a watch. There's no watch on the arm. Okay. I don't have the fancy jacket on. I don't have the earpiece. I just don't have it. Okay. I spend 95% of my time getting new money. And I spend the 1% maybe managing it. Part of getting that new money is marketing. And then I'm gonna spend 4% of my time spending money on networking with new audiences. At 25 years old, I can't get a bank to give me a loan. And yesterday I was in New York and JP Morgan wants to give me like billions of dollars. I sat in a bank yesterday. This building, they paid $4 billion for the building in cash. I had 6 people sitting across from me and they're all like, how much, like literally like, how much money can we give you? I'm like, this is crazy. Okay. And I've always known it would happen like this. Always. I knew, and this is a saying that I believe in and I've said for years. You will be underpaid your entire life. Your entire life, you will be underpaid. But if you do the right things, a portion of your life, you'll be overpaid. And I'm about to be overpaid.
And the right things are the 99% of making income, not managing. Like when
you want income, I don't mean just money. I want incoming opportunities. I say yes to everything. They called and said, hey, would you do this event? Yes, I'll do it. Okay. Like I say yes to everything. If you called me right now on this phone, if I got a cold call from a telemarketer right now, I would not block it. I would take the call.
Really?
100%. I would answer the phone. Yeah. Do you have $250 million for me? No, calling you about an air condition. I'm not interested in that today. I'm interested in $250 million. That's why I would answer the phone, because you never know. The person that you're blocking or not answering might be the person that's going to help you. Okay. Yeah. You guys understand? You understand every giant started this big. Every giant, every person, every Jeff Bezos, every Carlos Slim, every giant was this big at one time. So treat everybody like they're a billionaire. You never know when you're talking to one.
Nice. There you go. So, all right. So I got a marketing degree and a master's.
You have a marketing degree?
Yeah.
You have a marketing degree?
I do, man.
Yes, sir. That ain't worth anything.
That's where I'm going. You read my mind. Yes. So, and a master's in business administration. And you'd think,
oh my God,
all these degrees, isn't that impressive?
God.
So, but after all that, you still don't know how to do anything in business. If you ask an MBA grad, like, okay, go start a company, they're like, I don't know what to do yet. So again, with coaches or mentors or whoever, how important was that in coming up and just finding somebody to give guidance on what do you do next?
Look, you guys should always have a coach with you. Okay. You need somebody that'll tell you the truth. You need to hire somebody, not your husband. Your husband's not, you won't listen to him about anything, and he won't listen to you. He's like, Okay. Your parents can't do it because your parents are never going to take you serious because they remember when you pooped on yourself. So you're playing with yourself and stuff, doing weird stuff. Like you're this big, right? So you can't do it with parents. You have to have somebody that you respect that gives you feedback. Why'd you sleep in today? Okay. Why'd you go buy a car? You don't need a car. You need business. You need business. You should be spending money on advertising. But I'm not spending money on advertising. Why not? You don't trust yourself. You don't spend because you don't trust. You don't invest because you don't know. Okay? Well, I'm trying to save my money. That's impossible. You cannot save money. Banks save money. And banks get rich off of you saving money. Take the money and risk it. But I'm scared. That's a problem. Don't be scared or do it anyway. So you need somebody grabbing you every day saying, no, until you break. Tom Brady had a coach. Okay. Hey, no, don't do it like that. Do it like this. Now, some of you will not refuse. You're committed to poverty. You're committed to poverty. You're committed to suffering. You're committed to a life of excuses. Some of you are. I'm just telling you the truth. She's like, not me. Some of you are. Okay. And by the way, it will be most of the room that is committed to problems. Otherwise, you'd have gotten rid of them already. How many of you here have a recurring problem? Let me see a hand if you have a recurring problem. Repetitive over and over. Okay. Hey, look, I don't mind problems. I just don't want the same problems. The same ones. You know, the boyfriend or you remember those? Or the psycho chick? How many of you been with a psycho woman before? Hey, yeah, this guy yeah. Okay. Well, he said, yeah, oh yeah, I remember that. That's you, bro. That ain't her. You brought her in, right? So you don't want the same problem over and over. You go bankrupt one time. Okay, don't do it twice. Why did that happen? I've been in business 40 years. I've never gone bankrupt. There's no reason to go bankrupt. By the way, there's no reason to ever lose money, ever. But you got to get the right people that will tell you the truth. You guys are going to hire a lawyer in your lifetime. You're going to hire an accountant in your lifetime. You're going to hire a tax person in your lifetime. Get a coach to tell you, no. Let's come up with a plan, and I'm going to be here to enforce that you stick with the plan.
The coach put in, I went to y'all's, it was a training thing we did a few weeks ago, and I was impressed because I don't know how many different advertising campaigns. These were email campaigns, actually. It was like 50 of them. And you knew how many emails were sent out, how much did they cost, how much money did it earn. The statistics and measurement and the level of analysis was impressive. It was good.
Yeah.
How important it is working with the coach and putting those kind of things in place.
Look, you have to know what the numbers are. Numbers don't lie. People lie. If you're taking notes, 2 things that will lie to you constantly. People, they will lie. They lie. People lie. Liars. Liar, liar. Pants on fire. I don't know if that translates or not, but they lie. People lie. Kids lie. Spouses lie. Neighbors lie. Employees lie. You know how I know that? Because you lie to yourself. So if you lie to yourself, you'll lie to the rest of the marketplace. Okay? So the number 2 thing is, if you can't measure it, you can't move it. If you cannot measure it, you cannot move the stat, right? And third of that is emotions cannot be measured and they always lie. How you feel is almost never right. Something's not working, okay? That's a feeling, okay? Feelings are liars and they deceive you. I'm scared. So you're scared. Of course you're scared. You're going to be doing something new. I spoke for President Trump at Madison Square Garden. I'd never done that before, okay? So this was a crazy event. Probably 30 million people online. I was scared. Should I be scared? I'd never done it before. You jump out of a plane. You've never jumped out of a plane. Probably going to be scared. But if you measured it over and over and over again, Tom Cruise is not scared of jumping out of a plane. He's done it enough time to where he trusts and he measures and he knows what the result's going to be. So you need a coach and you need measurement on your statistics.
Nice.
We measure everything. I get numbers every single day, Saturday and Sunday included. They hit my phone. Okay, this morning I got my numbers. 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning every day. I get them. Every sale we made, every product we sold. And I look for ones that are going down and ones that are going up. But I'm committed.
Because if somebody called and told you, hey, Grant, it's going great, that didn't really mean a whole lot until you see the number, right?
Yeah, I don't care how you what you think great is. I want to see the number. Show me the number. Okay. You wouldn't fly a plane based on emotions. Okay. I go to the pilots. I actually, on the flight over here, we flew in to the airport about 20 minutes from here. And I was in Miami, and the two pilots are outside when we drove up today. And I said, hey, you guys, I'm going to go slow on this because I definitely wanted to translate. I said, are you guys ready to die today? And they said, no. And I said, good, let's go. Because I figure if they're not ready to die, we're good. You know why? Because they went and checked all their measurements. They checked the fuel, they checked the gauges, they checked the plane, and we're good to go.
How about for a larger company? Like, from what I've seen, actually from, is it Brandon? Brandon's your partner.
Yeah.
Okay. And they were saying as a company grows, it runs through different difficulties based on its size. Yeah. Could you comment on that?
So there's break points in a business. There's many, many, many break points. So when you go from 0 to 200,000, 200,000 to 800,000, 800,000 to 2 million, 2 million to 7 million, 7 million to 14. I've been through all these break points. 7 million to 70 million. You have different problems along the way. 70 million to 150 million, different problems completely. Now it's starting to get juicy. Okay. 150 million to 500 million a year. Okay. Boom. It's like, wow, this is $40 million a month. How many would like to have these kind of problems?
Jeez.
This is the kind of problems you need. Okay. I remember when I couldn't put $4,000 together. Okay. We do almost $4 million a day. And I've never borrowed any money from banks to build my business. I have no sponsors, none. We've never taken a sponsor's dollar. I've done it all using social media, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, LinkedIn. We've raised $1.7 billion over the internet for real estate transactions and sold another $1.2 billion worth of products over the internet and helped millions of people. But you're going to go through breakpoints. You're going to need new people. You're going to need better people. You're going to need better distribution. You're going to need better managers, better legal teams. And it takes money. And you need your spouse on the same page with you. Like my wife is on the same page with me. Me and my wife we argue about some stuff. We don't argue about the money. Okay. We don't argue about who makes decisions. I make decisions on the business. I do not check with her. I say, look what we did today. And she's like, and she doesn't check with me about things that she runs. She runs that, I run this, and we run together.
I don't think that's respected enough to make sure the people around you are moving in the same direction. If you've got a partner or somebody who's conservative, doesn't want to spend, is going to stop every decision you make.
Yeah.
That's a problem.
Not stop, but second guess. I don't think we should do that. Oh, shit. I sleep with you. You don't need doubt coming from the person you're sleeping with. Okay? Then the kids. I have two kids, a 13 and a 15-year-old. They work at our company. They work at that company since they were 6 years old, on payroll. Okay? We took them out of schools. We homeschool them. If you live in America, you take your kids out of school, you put them on your payroll, and they're a tax write-off. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. At least write them off. Okay? They work at the company. We give them money to work at the company, and they're forced to do things to work at the company. Okay? So they're living in my world. They're going to work for us. If I can't get my kids to work for me, how am I going to get strangers to work for me?
And they just learn the value of production, right?
Of course. And they learn to work with people. They learn to communicate. We invest money in our kids to make sure outside of schools, they know how to communicate. They know how to have confidence. They know how to sell. They know how to market. They know how to close. They know how to edit video. They know how they're required to create their own Instagram pages and produce content. They work for the company.
That's amazing.
So, because they're going to leave me at some point. I want to get something out of them.
And she's one of your daughters is you said second place sales at your company?
My 15-year-old, okay, my 15-year-old was involved. I've never said this in public. My 15-year-old was involved in a $100 million litigation defamation lawsuit with me. She was at the mediation table with me and negotiated a settlement with a Fortune 10 CEO. And because she was there, she got a piece of the settlement. So when my kids roll with me, we were in New York, we were at JP Morgan last week, as I mentioned earlier. If a deal comes out of there, she gets a piece. The 13-year-old was in that meeting. So we come into that meeting, she's like, do I get a piece? I said, oh yeah, you're going to get a piece, dude. I'm going to hit you. I'm going to reward her for being there. Okay. Now what happens is the 15-year-old hit $1 million last year. Made $1 million on her own.
Jeez.
Okay. So you guys just got to decide what you're committed to. You committed to Netflix and eating and excuses and problems and think some government's going to solve your problem. And Biden's not going to solve your problem. He's gone. Trump's not going to solve your problems. He's there. The next group's going to come in. Nobody's going to solve your problems. The game is fixed. Okay, the game is fixed, and the only winners are the players that know how to hack the game.
Right on.
And all the government programs are all con jobs. They're all designed to make you weak. And I'm proof. I am living proof that you can hack the system. The system can be hacked. And I came here today to tell you guys, look, man, get a plan, get a coach. You need about 60 days to break a habit and to become the next version of yourself. It won't happen tomorrow. And you can't make a decision to change yourself right now. It takes about 60 days to unwind old habits and create new ones. And so if you would just take, what is this, June? What are we in, June? July? Yep. August? By August 20th, you could be a different version of yourself. How many of you like to see that? Summer's not even over. You're not even through summer and you're a different version. And that's what I look for. I look for 60-day blocks. I take 60-day blocks and I'm like, in the next 60 days, I'm going to change myself.
Nice. Very nice. All right, everybody. Did you get inspired? That is fat. We could go on forever. But anyway, listen, Grant, this was amazing. This was amazing. Thank you so much for being here, my friend.
Thank you, guys.
Atlanta, do you feel inspired? Let's give him a hand.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Thank you.